Hey everyone, Chart Stoppers back with another video. In this channel we take a look at different stocks and map out their key support and resistance areas on their daily chart. It's important to know these areas before you buy any stock, and it's also important to know what kind of a trend a stock is in before you buy into it. Support and resistance is one of the most important things you should know about a stock before you either buy or sell. And also, if you're doing any day trading, swing trading, or options trading, you're definitely going to want to get familiar with this channel and support and resistance areas. Now, just to let you know, I'm not a financial expert. These videos are for educational purposes only, but I am here to point out key factors on the charts which do impact the price action of a stock. I also provided a link in the description for Webull. You could use it to start an account and you will get 2 free stocks. And I also provided a link for Robinhood. You could use that to start an account and you'll get 1 free stock. And just to let you know, we will be doing 3 videos per week on 3 different stocks. So if you have a recommendation for a video, leave a comment below and I will try to get to it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and have your notifications on so you don't miss out on any new content here. Okay, so let's get into the market today. Today is October 29th, 2021. It is the last trading day of October. And you could see here, the S&P 500 finished the week green, up 0.21%. The Dow finished 0.41% up, and the Nasdaq finished the day up over 1%, up 1.06%. So a pretty good way to finish the week, and we'll see what next week brings. Hope everyone has a pretty good weekend and a good next week. Let's get into the stock I wanted to take a look at today. I'm going to be covering BNGO. I've done a few videos on this one in the past. I'll provide a link in the upper right hand corner to the most recent one. You could go back and check that out to see how I got to where my chart is today. You should be seeing that link right about now. Currently, BNGO is trading at $5.12. It finished the day down 5 cents, or the equivalent of 0.97%. In the after hours, it is up 3 cents, or the equivalent of 0.59%. On the week, it is flat, and in the past month, it is down 4.62%. In the past 3 months, this stock is down 17.68%. In the past year, however, this stock is still up 909.86%. So still having a pretty good year if you got in over a year ago. But in the past 3 months, you're not doing very good. Okay, and in the past week, it is flat, as you can see from the chart, not up or down at all. So let's get into the chart here. You could see this stock had a major run up going back to December of last year. December 22nd, it looks like the run up started. This stock was a penny stock. It looks like it came from around 50 cents here. It was trading around then. You could see a low of 47 cents going back to around September of last year, and it was pretty much flat until a huge run-up started right around December of last year. And this thing ran up to a high of $15.69, which it hit on February 16th of 2021 earlier this year. And that was right around the time that the correction in the Nasdaq started earlier this year, where pretty much every growth stock, every SPAC, pretty much every high multiple stock got crushed after that correction happened. So you could see that it just went straight up, no consolidation, a lot of gaps left behind on this chart, just a lot of green candles, not much going on the way up, just a lot of spaces in between these candles. So when you see that on a chart, you almost know that it's going to come down at some point. It's just a matter of not if, just when. So, you know, it's no surprise that it had a big rundown in the price, and it got very ugly, going from $15.69, where it bottomed out around $5 here. So, you know, a lot of people lost some money in this if you bought in around this price up here. Okay, and at the top of my chart here, I have the resistance point around $15.58. That is where we need to get back up to and close a day above and hold if we want to move on to see new highs. We don't really have a lot of space in between the all-time high and where we need to close above. As you can see, you know, the the closing of that candle and the all-time high are pretty much the same there. So that's basically the resistance is the all-time high. And going down the chart here, you could see not really any support on the way down to look at until we get to around $10. That is where we had a little bit of consolidation on the way up here. You could see that, it kind of consolidated around that $10 area right in this region here of the chart before making that last run to that all-time high. But on the way down, we did not see really any consolidation around that $10 area. It had that initial bounce coming from that all-time high, tried to make it back to that $10 area right around here in March. Couldn't make it to that $10 area, got rejected off of there, and kept falling down to that $5 area. Okay, so that's going to be resistance going forward, so we'll keep an eye on that point on the chart. Now going down the chart here, I also have resistance at $8.41, and you could see here that is a key area on the chart as that has acted as resistance in the past. You could see right here, this was back in March. We had a rejection off of that area here, and this is also going to be a rejection in that area. We didn't quite make it up to that area, but we will also call that a rejection off of that area. And also right here, this was back in June. We made it back up to that area coming off of this $5 base that we set up here off of that $5 support. Made it up to that $8.40 resistance point and got rejected also there. That was back in June. So that's going to be a key area on the chart going forward. We're going to need to break through that resistance if we want to see this thing move back to those all-time high levels up here around $15 here. Okay, now going down, like I said, it did create a base around $5. That is ultimately where it bottomed out, coming off of those all-time highs here. You could see we had a couple of bounces coming off of that $5 support area. One was back here in April. We also had another bounce in May. And then ever since around June, we've just been consolidating around this $5 area. We've sort of been stuck between $5 and $8, not really doing anything here. We've been stuck in this descending triangle right here that I have marked on my chart. You could see with this red trend line, we've been stuck in between here, underneath this trend line, and we've been above this $5 support line. So we've been making lower highs and lower lows going into this $5 support. And ultimately, what this means is the stock is going to have to make a decision. And that is why I wanted to do this update before next week, because you could see that it is getting very tight in here as I zoom in. We do not have a lot of space left in this triangle. You could see that it's looking like by November 4th, this stock is either going to have to break out of this triangle and make a move upwards to the upside, or it's going to have to break down the support and it's going to have to make a move to the downside. Okay, so one of two things is going to have to happen next week, and those are the only two options for this stock. Now, the earnings aren't going to come out until November 11th, so before the earnings come out, it's going to have to make a decision here which way it wants to go. Now, another thing I want to point out on this chart here is this gap that I have highlighted in the red, and that is between $3.47 and $3.91. So that is about a 40-cent gap. That is a pretty nice size gap for a daily chart on a a smaller size stock like this. So that is something to point out here. We also have another gap down here that I did not highlight. This is also a 40-cent gap here between $1.49 and $1.84. So let me just zoom in here. You could see that gap also that was left behind on the way up. So we all know that gaps on the daily chart usually have a tendency to fill themselves in. Okay, so we just need to keep an eye on that. You could see when it broke the support here, this was back in May, it did recapture that support very quickly after a couple days. So it did not go down to fill that gap in. So that was a very good sign that it did not break down completely and go fill that gap in. So that's something to look at. And let's put our moving averages on the chart and just see what we're looking at with those. And you could see very clearly our 50-day moving average in the dark blue here has been acting as strong resistance for this stock. It almost mirrors my trend line here in the red, as you could see on our daily chart, that it's just acting as strong resistance. Every time a daily candle goes up and touches that 50-day moving average, it just gets rejected off of our daily chart. So we need to get past that 50-day moving average to gain some momentum here if we want to start an uptrend and break out of this descending triangle. Otherwise, we're going to be in some trouble here, and we're going to break this support next week. Okay, so that's going to be the first hurdle we need to clear, is break this dark blue moving average, which is our 50-day moving average. Okay, that will be the first step. And then you see our 200-day moving average up here in the yellow. That's sitting at $7.10. That'll be our next step if we could get past our 50-day moving average. Okay, let me just zoom in even closer. We have our 21-day moving average. That is sitting around, it looks like $5.18, and our 8-day moving average is sitting at $5.16. Okay, so we'll need to get past those first, but ultimately $5.40 is where our 50-day moving average is sitting, and that has been acting as very strong resistance going back to, it looks like we haven't been above that since July here. Okay, so we haven't been able to close a day above our 50-day moving average since July. Okay, so if we could get above that, that would be huge for this stock. All right, so that's going to be the biggest thing of all, is getting above that 50-day moving average. Now let's switch over to our weekly chart, see if we could find anything on there that will help us out. And it looks like on our weekly chart, you could see very clearly our 8-period moving average on our weekly chart is acting as resistance every week. You could see every week we go up and test that 8-period moving average here in the white, and we get rejected every week off of that moving average. Okay, so going back to, it looks like July, also the beginning of July right in here, we have been going up to test that moving average, and we get rejected every time we go up and test that. So we'll go up, hit that moving average, and we will get rejected, sell off, and close below that. So we need also to close the week above this white moving average. That is my 8-period moving average on the weekly chart, also to start some momentum too and get out of this downtrend we've been on. Otherwise, we are going to break this support at $5 and trend lower, probably to fill this gap in around $3. Okay, so switch back over to the daily chart for one last look, and that's going to be it for this one. We'll keep an eye on this one for next week, and we'll see what it does. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and have your notifications on so you don't miss out on any new videos like this. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time on Chart Stoppers.